Today I've managed to talk Brian Reed into coming down and sharing his knowledge with us. Brian's been detective for a number of years now, and he's well into the hobby. Brian, could you tell us a bit about yourself? What do you do?
Well, as far as the hobby goes, I've been involved for about 27 years, and I got into it like a lot of other people through fishing. Bought my youngest son a detector, and I got hooked on it myself, and I've been detecting ever since. I am an ex-fireman, an ex-merchant seaman, but nowadays I do a bit of writing mainly about the hobby and local history, and I try to get out detecting a couple of times a week if possible, and I thoroughly enjoy it and would recommend it to anybody.
You say you do a lot of writing, Brian. Have you got any books on the market?
Yeah, as far as my latest book goes, which is on metal buttons, most detectorists find buttons probably the most common object they find, but a lot of detectorists don't realise that some buttons are extremely rare and some quite valuable in monetary terms, but they don't pay a lot of close attention to them. So I decided to write this book using material mainly from detectorists, a lot out of the River Thames and some from museum collections, to try and help detectorists and other people identify buttons. And I've gone into the construction of how they were made, whether they were one piece, two piece, whether they're cast, whether they're sheet, and so on. And I just hope that the book proves useful. There's a lot of previously unpublished material in there, and I say currently it's doing quite well. Other books I've written are on metal artifacts of antiquity, and the two publications of History Beneath Our Feet, which people still continually ringing me up asking for, but it's been out of print for a long time. Metal Artifacts of Antiquity is still being sold mainly through Greenlight Publishing, but it's available from any good metal detector dealer, or indeed through any shop.
So, apart from doing all that writing, I suppose you've got enough time to go out metal detecting. You say this is from finds that you and Val have made. Would you tell me a bit about them, please?
This is just a selection of finds that Val and I have made over the years. We keep most of our collection in a security vault in the bank because it's just not worth keeping it at home. We've known 4 people actually being broken into and their whole collection taken, so we're a bit wary of that. But in actual fact, over the years, most things that we've found have been donated to museums or to the landowner. We always give our landowners a showcase or two, one for artifacts, one for coins. But there are a few things we do keep, and this is just a representation. There are one or two very, very scarce objects here. In actual fact, this is a folding candle holder, about 14th century. Until recent times, there was only a handful known, and indeed now nationally, I think there's around about a dozen known. But this is the only one known which is made completely of sheet metal. Most of them have got a cast metal spike and a sheet stem and where the actual candle or the rush would have entered there. So this one is extremely rare. It's got some decoration on it, but I don't think you can see it very easily on the actual there. This is punch decoration. Other items in here. There's a 7th century Anglo-Saxon disc brooch there. This type has got applied filigree, but it's a copper alloy one and gilded, and it's got black glass stones in it. Some of them are missing, but this type of brooch is normally known in gold, but this is uncommon that it is copper alloy. Other scarce objects are this lead, thought to be a bird seed or bird drinking water in a caged bird, but this is an unusual one, and it's got this tree of life on it, and it's probably early post-medieval. The medieval ones are normally of a lead tin alloy, a pewter construction, and some of those can be very highly decorated with heraldic motives. There's a little medieval spoon here, which is about 14th century, and it's nice to see a complete one, but they're more common in lead tin alloy. But this one is a copper alloy. It's probably a type of latten, which is a form of brass, but this one is a little bit unusual because there is a maker's mark on the stem, the base of the stem, which is there's no record of these maker's marks, so we can't identify it any further, but it is pretty scarce. These here are, yeah, it's an Anglo-Saxon hook tag. There's a whole series of these, and hook fasteners. They're not really 100% certain where they were used, but some of them are so tiny and so fragile, it's hard to understand precisely where they could have been used. They're thought to be associated with personal dress, but they could be of use on things like purses, etc. as well. And hook fasteners go right the way through to at least the 17th century, and I've been recording these for many years with the help of people within the hobby in particular, and I've got about 400 or 500 different types recorded, which I hope to get published one day.